Alright, tip 1. Wolves have been the lowest scoring team in the Premier League over the past 2 years, suggesting that in a game where they're playing a very defensive-minded team, especially away from home in Everton, it will probably be a low-scoring game, so don't bank in too much in either attacker. And if you're predicting, probably predicts a 1-1 draw. Tip 2 is for Forest West Ham. West Ham actually kept the least clean sheet in the Premier League last season. So after their terrible start this season, it's showing based off last season. And probably considering Forest's really sharp attack, that this is going to be a high-scoring game for Forest. Tip 3. Brighton have completed more passes in a single game versus City than any other team in the Big Six. And which is why the game usually ends up high-scoring for City, because Pep Guardiola can finally punish a team that has more possession than him, hit the teams on the counter with the quality that they have. It's really not going to look good for Brighton if it continues the same way. So it's a good time to aim for those City attackers, especially the really fast ones on the break. Tip 4 is for Villa Palace. Villa have the longest home unbeaten run in the Premier League, running back to January 2024, suggesting that even though they're on poor form, it's unlikely that they lose to this Palace side at home. So I reckon it'll be a tight game. Don't bank too much against them. Don't take out players like Watkins or Rodgers, and be patient, because they are a good side and the quality will show. Tip 5 is for the big game of the weekend, Liverpool-Arsenal. The last 7 outfield meetings saw Liverpool score first in 6 of them, suggesting that the away side in Arsenal usually start poorly, and do expect both sides to score despite Arsenal being really good defensively. Alright, now it's time for the team review out of Game Week 3. Game Week 2 and 1 have gone decently okay, so I'm happy with the team so far. But I've been forced to make some major decisions because of injuries. And it's been really annoying, but I may be taking a -4 this week. So we'll go into it later as I go through the team, but just keep that in mind for now. So the keeper, I've got Raya in goal. Obviously, he's got points every week so far. I don't expect him to get points against Liverpool away. But the thing is, if he does get points, the ceiling could be so high. You know, he could be up for another 10-pointer, 11-pointer even, because he's down to get so many saves. And could be a major haul if they do keep a clean sheet, but that's not what I'm expecting. But his potential to haul is there, and he could get some save points, so it's a decent keep. I don't think there'll be many goals in this game, so I don't mind this fixture for Raya, to be honest. In the defense, so we'll start off with the safe one. I've got Nico Williams. I think this is finally the game he should get me points after blanking the first 2 weeks. They're playing arguably the worst team in the Premier League based on form. And obviously their attack is better than their defense, but I assume Forest will be able to handle them from a defensive point of view, because that's Forest's main strength. So hopefully they do get the clean sheet. If Nico Williams could also get an attacking return to make up for the 2 weeks that he blanked, it would be really appreciated. But let's see how it goes. I'm happy with that fixture on paper. Next to him, I got Daniel Munoz. Obviously, he got the assist last week. Now he's playing Villa. I always knew this would be an awkward fixture, considering Villa's really good home form, as highlighted in the unique FPL tips, and that they haven't really scored a goal so far this season, so they'll be really ready to score one. But he does have potential, Munoz, for attacking returns as well. So we'll see how this game goes. I'm not expecting anything major for him. I'm honestly looking more at the game ahead at Sunderland, but I wouldn't be surprised if Munoz does get some decent points in this game. So I didn't look at it as a bad fixture, it's just an awkward one. Next to him is Aït-Nouri. So he was obviously came off injured at the end of Game Week 2, but there's been recent news after he got picked for the Algerian national team that he will be fit for Game Week 3, and that he will very likely be played if Pep Guardiola decides to not do a bit of roulette with us and play him. So he should be fit for Game Week 3. So he's a keep for sure then. And Brighton away. Brighton a good attacking side, but maybe we could see... The thing is, obviously, last game was the game where Aït-Nouri would play in that attacking position. And now I think Pep is going to revert the system back to the back 3 rather than have 2 attacking fullbacks. So we'll see how it pans out. But of course, if he plays in the back 3, he's good for defensive contributions. And as highlighted, Brighton keep majority of the possession against City. So that could work in his favour, allowing him to get more defensive contribution points. So hopefully that works out well. So overall, the defense is decent for this week. I think it's much better than the defense we had last week. So I'm more confident in this defense with the fixtures that they have. So hopefully it works out well. In the midfield, first of all, I've got Pape Malang Sarr for Tottenham. playing Bournemouth at home. I think Bournemouth at home could be is a decent fixture from an attacking point of view, because obviously Bournemouth are a solid team, but it's because their attack is really, really good. But their defense, on the other hand, has just been dismantled, and it's a completely new defense. Obviously, he kept a clean sheet last week, but against a Wolves team that got a red card, and as explained before, have scored the least goals over the past 2 seasons. So I reckon this could be a good game for him. It seems again he'll be playing that cam role, with Tottenham not yet signing a cam. Obviously, there is rumors going around that they're fighting for Xavi Simons, Chelsea and Tottenham. So the ideal scenario for me is that they fight till like deadline day, and then Chelsea do get him. Then I have a 5 million Tottenham cam who's supposed to be playing midfield in my fantasy team. So that'd be brilliant if that happens. So I'm excited this game to see how he goes. He's been getting a lot of praise recently for his performances overall from a football perspective. And yeah, I've been really happy, excited to have him at such a cheap price. You know, there are no expectations, but if he does get something, it's happy days. So happy with that. Next to him is the other Tottenham man, Kudus. I've spoken before on how he's not the ideal pick for me, but I was kind of enforced to get him because I saw those 2 fixtures, and it really looked at me as fixtures that he could do really well in. Obviously, he didn't get points last week. He didn't even look anywhere near points, and it was kind of disappointing that the other 2 attackers got points, but not him. But I've highlighted my concerns on Kudus. But he's a player that I don't mind having for this week. But for the long term, again, as I said last week, he's not a player I would love in my team. So we keep for now, and then we assess how it goes on. Because obviously, within a week or like by next week, his position in the team could change, and he could look like much more of a goal threat player. So you have to be patient and see how things go. So on, yeah. So next to him, another player who's certain to keep is Cody Gakpo. Obviously, my favorite player on the current team, as you can see it by the graphic, is just because he's such a player that people doubt, such a differential that not many people thought would do really well. And he's done really well for me and done better than Salah, done better than Wirtz. So I was really happy to have him, and he looks a good player to watch. He's a really good player to watch. He looks like he's a player on form. Obviously, the next game is not ideal for him. And I'm always in an awkward position when the player that I have is playing against the team that I support. I try to be non-biased in my decision. If I feel that the player who's playing against my club could score, then I'd keep him. But honestly, the way Arsenal are playing right now, the way they defensively are so disciplined and they defend so well, I don't know who's scoring against us. So it would be biased to not play him. So I'm playing him, but I'm playing him with kind of the vision that he's going to blank this week. And then next week, he's got the really good fixtures. So not expecting anything from him this week, but the next few weeks, I really like his fixtures for him, and hopefully he does well. And then this is where it gets complicated. So the remaining 2 midfielders previously were Palmer and Wirtz. Obviously, they haven't played too well, and Palmer may have an injury right now. So my thinking now and my thinking after game week 1, and even after seeing game week 2, is I want Salah in my team. I feel like I've got mini trailers of what he's capable of, and I haven't been punished yet for not having him. And I feel like it would be a mistake not going without him for this season, especially I see that Burnley away game, and I don't want to go against him. I remember going against him last season, Southampton away, and it really did not end up well. So he's a player that I want. And to do that, I would have to remove Palmer, obviously. And that seems like a completely fine thing. And also look to move on Wirtz, because those are 2 in the midfield that I'm not too happy with. But price rises, price falls, players also I want have complicated things. So at the moment, I'm going to take a -4 this week. I'm removing Palmer for Reinders and Wirtz for Anderson. For next week, Burnley at home, I will remove Kudus for Salah. That's the initial plan. So my reasoning behind this, I've gone through many moves where I can get Salah in. I can't get him for Burnley away without a -4. I need to take a -4. And to think about it, if Palmer is not playing and Wirtz is playing Arsenal at home, and I think he's going to blank, I think I could make up the -4. So with the picks I've gone for, there are only Two reasons I don't like them, even though I've gone for them, is that it doesn't leave me with a player who's mid-price, like around the 8-9 million, that I can drop to, that I can replace with another player around that price who gets points. So like FPL players talk about price points. Price points are when you have a player at each certain price. So if any player does well, you can easily shift to them. So going 5.5 to 5.5 midfielders, and I have now already 1.5 million and 7.5. I don't have the option to really go up as easily, and so it will basically enforce me to drop so much money from the defense or drop Haaland or Salah. So that's the thing I don't like. But when I look at it, I think Haaland and Salah is the best draft to go for, and these players, Reinders and Anderson, are looking really good. So it seems like a logical move to do. But my second concern as well is I'm not too confident in Reinders. I'm confident in Anderson. I like him as a pick. He seems to get defensive contribution. His attacking threat is decent. So he seems like a good pick to have in your team. Don't expect too much for him, but he will get the points. But with Reinders, the problem is you're not sure of his starting position with Pep Roulette, because Pep could easily play Rodri and Gonzalez in those two sitting roles, and maybe even try Riley instead of Reinders. Like, he could easily be swapped any game. And Reinders is not playing that attacking role that we want every single game. I do suspect he'll play that attacking role if he starts. If he starts against Brighton, he should play that attacking role he played against Wolves. But then after that, you have Man United away at home, so that's a defensive role. Then Arsenal, that's another defensive role, even a benching maybe. But then when you look at it after, the fixtures are really good. Like if I pull it up here, he's got Burnley, Brentford, Everton after the Arsenal game. So those are really good fixtures. So he's a concern, but when he does play that attacking position, he has huge potential to hold. Like that Wolves game scared me because I thought he could get so much more than that 10-pointer. He had that potential to get so much more. And this Brighton game could be it. So these moves are making me really confident for this week. But obviously as an FPL manager, you have to play it like chess. You always have to look in the long term and can't always keep your decisions in the short term. So it does look really good this week. It seems like a really logical, nice moves this week, especially looking to get Salah in for next week. But the concern is getting these 5.5 players in the long term, having them in the long term. But I'm satisfied that this is the correct move to do, because the only other player that I would like to target is, because at first I wanted to target the Man United midfielders, but after their recent performances, I'm not going to go for that with the problems at the club until they start clicking. And the other player is João Pedro up front. So Chelsea do not have the best fixtures in my eyes. I see Fulham away, then Brentford away after the international break could be decent. But then they go straight to Man United away. So I don't think Fulham at home is a good fixture. So I think I could avoid that for João Pedro, assess and see. And for me, the priority is Salah. So that's the moves I'm going to make. So that's the midfield, how it should be for this game week. And then up top, I've got Haaland captain. I think he's the best captain this week, so really happy to have him as my captain. Obviously, last week disappointing, but this week different opposition. He still looks a good player, Haaland. It's just the team around him that's not supporting him as much. So decent. And then next to Haaland, I've got Victor Gyökeres. Obviously, fantastic game week last week. Now he's playing Liverpool. And obviously, many people are expecting a blank, but I feel like he did the business last week, to show that he's top player. Now he's going to Liverpool. There's nothing really to lose because he's not expected to go and score 2 goals here. But I think that could play in his favor and we could potentially see a return from him in this game. So that's the team ahead of the game week. Obviously, the bench is Dubravka, Estev, Goodmanson, and Margui. Obviously, nobody I'd want to play this week. So that's why I've kind of been enforced to make that -4. Or would have been enforced anyway if I wanted Salah for Burnley away. And hopefully it's a good week. Hopefully the players do well. Hopefully no more injuries. And we'll see. Hopefully a green hour this week. Forgot to say, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow the